Welcome to the Fire Pit. It's kind of a special edition of the Fire Pit in light of the recent decision by the Supreme Court. We're kind of celebrating, but I realize not everyone is celebrating. And this whole situation kind of reminds me of a story that's part of the both hands story. You may have heard it, you may not have, but I hope you'll listen to it and maybe come to the conclusion that this is something we can all agree on. I remember in 1973 when the Roe v. Wade decision came out, I was in high school and my first thought was, great, no responsibility. But as I grew in my knowledge and faith in Christ, I began to realize that's not the right way to think. The more I read Psalm 139, and He knit us in the womb, He knew us in the secret place, the more I realized life is valuable and it's the most important thing. So back in the 90s, I worked with the Southwestern Company. I worked with college students. And, you know, every once in a while, some of the women that I worked with would find themselves in a situation they hadn't planned for. And there's one particular time of the year, we had a bunch of people in Nashville for a meeting, and one of my guys came up to me and said, hey, this young lady is pregnant and she's scheduled for an abortion next week in Iowa. She lived in Wisconsin. And, you know, for the next 2 days, my wife spent time with her, trying to get her to see that there's another option, that adoption could work, that she doesn't have to have this abortion, and it could work. But she was just closed-minded. We said, let's go get a picture of this. Let's do anything we can. We even told her, we said, we want to have another child anyway. Come live with us while you're pregnant. We'll adopt this child, and then you can go back to Wisconsin, and life will go on just like it has been. But she left closed-minded. But somewhere on the drive from Nashville back to Wisconsin, she heard a song that was popular that year by Eric Clapton. And there was a line in there that said, would you know my name if you saw me in heaven? Something snapped. She all of a sudden realized she really couldn't go through with this. She went home, told her mom and dad loved her. A week later, she shows up at our house and says, is that deal still good? And we did what anyone would do. We said, sure, come on. We had an extra room. You can live with us. We'll figure this out. We'll make it up as we go. And in the meantime, the dad, who I also knew, was not happy. He wanted to take care of this situation as fast as possible. Well, she lived with us, and at some point during that process, we became pregnant. She was trying to figure out a way to tell us that she had changed her mind and didn't want to give this baby up for adoption, and she wanted to raise this child. And so that worked out perfectly, except I was living with 2 pregnant women then. Well, I remember when that child was born in August. About a month afterwards, we got a card from the baby's grandmother. And it was a card like I've never received before in my life. It was a simple card. It says, I've never seen God, but I know how I feel. It's people like you who make him so real. And just open it up, but there was a couple sentences on the inside that just rocked my world. It said, Dear Sarah and JT, thank you for being there when my daughter needed someone. I'll never be able to thank you enough for saving my grandchild. You get a card like this, it rocks your world, because this kind of thing doesn't rust, it doesn't blow away. Oh. And that child grew up. I remember going to her graduation party, and the father was there. And I saw him come across the room to me, and I didn't know if he was gonna hit me or what. But he came up to me, and he stopped in front of me, and he just got real serious. He said, JT, I just want to apologize. I was such a jerk. I had no idea. This child has been one of the biggest blessings of my life. I can't imagine my life without her. And he just said, please forgive me. And he hugged me, and I said, yeah, dude, we're good. That child is now 29 years old, part of a church, and she is making a huge impact on this world. And I just think, what would have happened if she didn't? You know, as a community, we can help open other people's eyes too. We can provide solutions. The number one reason more people don't adopt is because of the cost. That's why Both Hands exists. We help families raise money. Our average family raises close to $20,000. And right now, this last month, we have had more applications than we've ever had before. And we think one of the reasons is because we're offering a matching grant to families. We would love to keep doing that. We need a little help. If you're in a situation where you want to make a difference and you want to help a family adopt, you can help us by building that matching fund. And more families will adopt and more kids will have homes. If you know somebody who's in a situation, press in, love them, do what you can, whatever you have to do to help save that child, to make it easier for them to follow through with what really I think God intended. There's always rejoicing when a child is born. There's always rejoicing. As followers of Christ, we have a chance to make an impact. The only way we're going to do that is if we do it together.